Hey everyone, and welcome to our latest explainer. I am so pumped you're here today because we're unpacking a really fascinating and honestly completely unglamorous reality drawn straight from our source material on human behavior and achievement. It's called the silent price of visible success. We're going to explore why striving for early success feels, well, incredibly isolating. It's a lonely road, for sure. But today, we're going to figure out exactly why that is, and more importantly, how you can use that knowledge to your absolute advantage.
Okay, let's dive into this. Have you ever felt that heavy, sinking feeling in your gut when you're just grinding away and it literally feels like nobody cares or even notices? Like, why does hard work feel so incredibly lonely in the beginning? You know what I mean, right? You're quietly improving yourself, sacrificing comfort, running on an absolutely absurd amount of caffeine, and working on these huge goals that nobody else can even see yet. And the really painful part? Most people are just going to ignore you. They completely gloss over the effort, the mountain of empty coffee cups, the daily struggles. It just feels incredibly isolating.
Which brings us to part one of our explainer, the myth of rewarded effort and unlearning a childhood belief.
This is the very first major hurdle we all face, and it's a big one. What's really wild here is the brutal contrast between what we expect and what actually happens in the real world. Think about it. We all grow up with this deeply ingrained belief that effort alone earns respect. We kind of think that if we just show everyone our sweat, those sleepless nights, and all that stress, society is going to step up and validate us for it. But here is the harsh reality. Outcomes earn respect. Real life simply doesn't work the way we were taught as kids. The world notices the finish line, but it rarely ever notices the training. And man, that truth hurts deeply when you first realize it.
And that stark realization, that massive gap between our effort and the world's respect, leads us right into section 2, surviving the invisible phase, and the lonely reality of having a vision.
The source material defines this period perfectly as the invisible phase. It's that period of growth happening in complete silence, unseen, unnoticed, and totally misunderstood. Listen, if you are struggling right now, feeling like all your hard work is completely invisible, I really want to validate that for you. You are not crazy. This intense isolation, it's exactly where the real fundamental growth is taking place. It happens entirely in the dark, and frankly, that's just the silent price you pay for becoming different from the crowd.
And here's the main reason it stays invisible for so long. Average minds only believe in something after it already works. Before your success becomes super obvious to the rest of the world, holding on to your vision just looks completely unrealistic to average people. It makes total sense if you think about it. You're seeing a future that literally doesn't exist yet, and people generally only believe in what's already proven. This huge disconnect is exactly why your journey is so profoundly lonely. You're basically speaking a language of potential to a world that only speaks the language of proof.
Which brings us to section 3, the psychology of proof, and exactly why human nature ignores potential.
It's absolutely crucial to realize that people ignoring your hard work isn't personal, and it's definitely not malicious. It's literally just biology. The human brain naturally reacts to a few specific triggers: status, confidence, achievement, and visible success. Our brains are essentially running on ancient evolutionary software. They're hardwired to recognize and respect visible results infinitely more than invisible behind-the-scenes effort. It's just a biological shortcut that kept our ancestors alive. But for us today, it just means your daily grind is going to go completely unnoticed. So the crucial point is captured perfectly in this harsh truth from the text. The brain instantly reacts to proof, not potential. People naturally trust proof way more than they trust promises. It seriously doesn't matter how great your potential is. Until that potential crosses the threshold into undeniable, visible proof, the human brain simply won't register it as valuable. Just look at how visible success instantly changes social perception. Before results, you're ignored. But after results, people suddenly get real curious. Where you were doubted before, suddenly you're supported. Where you were laughed at, you are instantly respected. The exact same people who heavily doubted you will practically overnight become your biggest supporters. And honestly, that sudden change can feel incredibly fake. But remember, they only see your value after the results become visible. It's not necessarily malice or them being two-faced. It's just basic human nature responding to new proof.
Understanding that aspect of human behavior leads us to a really massive warning in section 4, the approval trap, and the very real danger of external validation.
If you don't grasp how human nature works here, you're going to make a fatal mistake during this tough period. If external validation controls your consistency, you will quit the exact moment that support disappears. Stopping your efforts just because nobody's noticing them right now is a huge trap. Why? Because support always, without fail, vanishes during the hardest phases of literally any journey. This loneliness destroys so many people mentally because they expect encouragement way too early. They expect the validation before the proof even exists. You absolutely cannot let applause dictate your drive.
So how do we actually escape this trap? We look right to Section 5, the power of silence and shifting from approval to execution.
Surviving this invisible phase requires a massive mental pivot, and the source material breaks it down into 3 really clear steps. Step 1, stop seeking approval. It's simply wasted energy trying to convince everyone of your dreams when your results can just speak for you later. Step 2, focus entirely on execution. We've got to learn to operate without the applause because results are always louder than explanations. And finally, step 3, let progress create your confidence. When you make this mental shift, an absolute obsession with your own progress naturally replaces that emotional need for external support. The progress itself literally becomes your fuel.
And this brilliantly illustrates the mindset shift you must adopt. Your current struggle is not proof you are failing. It's proof you are still in the invisible phase of growth. You've got to powerfully reframe your current pain. It's not a sign to stop. Every single powerful, incredible transformation out there starts right there, silently, without attention, without praise, and without recognition.
Which brings us to the climactic takeaway from our source material today. Keep building quietly until your results become louder than everyone's opinions. Listen, if the harsh realities of this explainer hit you deeply today, please don't let it discourage you. Instead, take this knowledge of human nature and use it as intense, unshakable fuel. Let your absolute execution do all the talking for you. So, I'm going to leave you with this final provocative thought. Are you ready to embrace the silence? Thank you so much for joining me today. I really hope you leave this explainer feeling completely empowered to tackle your goals unnoticed, trusting that the invisible phase is exactly where you are meant to be right now. Do not wait for the applause. Keep building, and I will see you in the next explainer.